Hello everyone. I should have sound right away, which is a win for me because that doesn't always happen right from the start. Please acknowledge that you can hear me so I'm not talking to myself like I've been doing for a couple of times now. Still learning, still learning. So, as you might have noticed, last week there was no stream. I have been out with the flu, unfortunately, so that happens, life happens. But here we are, back with another stream, hopefully to make some progress on the issue, on the PR that I've been creating for Xamarin.Forms. I'll tell you a little bit of background about that in just a little bit. And actually, the week before that, I had a great stream. It was good. It had some good content, if I may say so myself. But I have somehow managed to delete the recording of that stream like even before it was posted. So I don't know what happened, but I managed to delete it. Um, yeah, so it's unfortunate. I don't have that recording anymore. Very very sad. So hopefully I can put just as much good content in this stream as well. Then yeah, we'll have add another good episode to this one. Um, so let's just dive into the issue that I have been working on for Xamarin.Forms, which is this one, which is on screen right here, and it has to do with the auto fitting. No, actually, this is not the one. I'm looking at the wrong one right now. Okay, that's cool. Um, I've abandoned this at some point. Huh, cool. So which one have I been working on? Let's see. Let me quickly get the right one. Wow, this is preparation for you. Let's quickly get me the right one. Look, it's supposed to be 3901. That's the one I'm talking about. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. So it's this one, which is basically a bug that, well, let's scroll down. An image says so much more. So what we have here, this font size here on the top, if you can see it, is just the right one. So you can set this formatted string with a couple of spans that we probably have here. So on a label, we can set the formatted text, we have a span, and we can set this font attributes. But whenever you set a font attribute, then it loses the default font size, or well, you would expect that the font size is the same as on the label. So here on the label we have font size 30, and since we didn't set any font size explicitly here, we would expect that the font size to be 30, right? That sounds good enough. But it doesn't work like that, not at the moment. So what you see happening here is that the font size is set to micro or small or medium or large or 30. But the span, the formatted text, all just remains the default font size. So what I've already uncovered in the past streams is that whenever the span, and we had some kind of extension method that checked if it was default, so if it didn't have any font attributes, if it didn't have any font size, or if it didn't have any font family, I think it was those three, then it would just go its own course and apply nothing. Or sorry, no, if the span was default, then it will inherit the property values from the actual label. But whenever you set something like the font attributes, then none of the other properties are propagated to the span. So yeah, that is what's happening, and I have been pulling apart the code here a little bit. I've already implemented it for iOS basically, and I have some changes right here in my Git. It was stashed away. I didn't commit it yet for some reason. Where I have the changes for Android already in some scaffolding. Actually no, because this is also the wrong branch, because I prepared the wrong thing. So there we go, 14 days ago. Let's stash this again. And I have some stash changes here as well. Let's restore those. Now Visual Studio for Mac is probably going to go nuts because it doesn't like the changing of a whole lot of files like when you switch a branch. So let's give it some time. But for Android, I've already dug into the font extensions as well. And what you can see here, this is also something I did for iOS. It was set up in a similar way. So here we have this font extensions. Let me see if I can zoom this. I don't think so. Zoom, what does this do? Huh, that's not the zoom I was looking for. Okay, view, zoom in. Oh, reset zoom, zoom in. We can do this. Oh, cool, this works, awesome. Okay, so we basically only had this extension method on a font element, which just checked if it was default, and then to see if something was default, we were going to see if the font family is null, so if the font family isn't set, if the font size was the default size, and if there were no font attributes. So I kept this for backwards compatibility, but I split it out into several extra font extension methods. So I'm checking if I can check now if something is the default font family, or is the default font size, or is the default font attributes. And that way we can easily pull this check to separate these checks, and then check if the font family is the default one, then we just inherit the one from the label. If the font size is the default one on the span, then we just get it from the label. So that way it's easier to implement this the right way and let the formatted string work the way that we expect it to work. So I think this is something I already implemented. Let's see if VS for Mac is back here. It seems so. So if you've watched before, then you probably know a little bit about the Xamarin.Forms solution. So here we have the control gallery, which is the basically our testing app, which holds a lot of test cases and that kind of stuff. So let me just quickly run this for Android to boot up the Android emulator and see a little bit of our progress. And let me see if I can open up a page, whoops, for 3901. So I've already created a reproduction here, which basically, I think there was another issue linked or something. Whoops, this looks good. That had a reproduction. Oh, it's actually the one that we were just looking at, right? So it's this one, because it's just this case that you're looking at here. But I've basically copy and paste this code into our own test application here, the gallery app. And now I have it here, and I can link this to the Xamarin.Forms repository, so I can easily dive into the code, like the label renderers and that kind of stuff, to see what is going on there. So I'm not sure if this is going to work now, because the emulator seems to have crashed. But let's see, this is the font extensions in the renderer. So let's go to the font extensions on Android. There we go. So here we should have this code right here that I just showed you in the Git client. And let's see where this is used right now. That's probably the easiest. So find references, pull up the window, and we get to the formatted string extensions. So this is another extension method, and I think for the last stream that's not archived, so I can say all kinds of bold statements here that I knew exactly what I was doing, but that's not the case. I think I got a little bit confused here on how this is implemented today. So this is doing the set span with a font, and I think I need to do some refactoring here to be able to get in my separated is default methods. So let's see if that's something that we can do for today's stream. In the meantime, you can see the Android emulator coming up. And I think it should install the gallery app, so you can see what that looks like. It doesn't get a prize for the most beautiful design, I guess, but it does the trick. And what we have here is a whole bunch of things. So here is basically all the controls that you get out of the box with Xamarin.Forms, but we also have this big box of issues right here. So you can see you can filter on Bugzilla, GitHub, and I can search for 3901. And you see the test case right here. As it turns out, well, no, the spans still have the default size, as you can see. So here we have this micro font size right here, but the rest of the string of the span is still the default font size. So that's something that we need to fix. I've already fixed that for iOS. And now it's time to fix it for Android. And whenever we get that done, then we should be able to, I don't know, write some tests or do some other fun stuff. But yeah, let's see if we can fix this first. So here we have the span is default, and that's what gets us in trouble. And here we do a spannable set span, because I think we're looping through all the spans here, as you can see. So these are the formatted string, the Xamarin.Forms spans. So the Xamarin.Forms layer is just an abstraction on all kind of platform specific stuff. And so basically what we're doing here is we loop through these spans here, and we translate all the attributes that you can see here. So in this case, the font attributes to how that would work on native Android. So what we're doing here is a whole bunch of things. Something with a text color, foreground color, background color, line height. And here we're going to see if the span not is default. So whenever the span doesn't have anything default, we're just going to go with a bunch of things. But as we've concluded just now, the span.default is too generic. We want to check if the span dot is default font attributes, for instance, or font family or font size. So we have these new methods right here, and now we just need to see how we're going to apply that to this thing here. So let's see what's happening here. If span is set text decorations. So in the way this works on Android, I think it's a bit weird. How it sets the formatted fonts stuff is basically, I think you can see it happening here. We create this string builder. So we concatenate the whole string, all the spans into one big string. And you should use a string builder for that because of performance. And then in Android, you're going to specify with indexes where the start and the end point is for some kind of formatting that you want to do. So what you see happening here is, okay, the text color is maybe different for this span, so we're going to loop through all the spans again, and then we're going to see okay, does this span have a different text color? Then if it has, then we're going to do set span, and you can see we set a foreground color, and we're going to set that for a start and end that we determine here. So a start and an end index, and for that piece of the string, we're going to set a foreground color. And whereas for iOS, for example, they just have some similar concept to the spans. So yeah, we just have pieces of strings that you can do some things with. So that makes it a lot easier to do these kinds of things and tear apart the isDefault extension method. So let's just see what is happening here, because we get a default font as well. What is the default font? So what do we actually want to do here? We have this span is default. If it's not default, but this is too generic, right? So what we want to do, a new font span. Okay, so everything is in here. So I think what we want to do is create this, but everything is contained in this font, so it seems. So what is this font span? Can we do something with that? So what do we want to set? We want to set the font size, basically, font family, if that needs be, and font attributes. So yeah, text decoration span. Okay, so these are some things that we've created ourselves, apparently. The text decoration span, so we get the span in here. And update draw space, underline, strike through, text decorations. Okay, it's text decorations and this. Okay. There's this font span. Oh, that's also something we created ourselves. Okay. Not is default. What are we getting here? Formatted string. Span.font. Typeface, okay. Text size. All right. Character spacing. So if it's not default, so this is the path that we're going. Okay, let's just, you know what? Let's just put in a breakpoint, see what happens. So if we go back here and we go back in here, then we get to the else. Okay, that's interesting. So it is default. Yes, because the first one is default, right? The first one is the default one, and then we're going to get to one that is bold. So then we would expect to come into this next one, right? No. Okay, so it never is default. How does that work? Or it's always default. So let's dig into these. So that's the power we have right now, because everything is linked up here. We can just dig into the Xamarin.Forms source right away. So let's see, font family is null. Okay, so that is default. Then we get to the next one. The font size is 14, yada yada yada. And if we get this device named size, that should be the same thing. 1409 Okay, so the font size is true, yes. The font attributes is none. Okay, so this one is default, that's good. Then we get here is null as well, font size, okay. Now the font attribute should be different. So is default, this should return false, right? So did I make a mistake? False with the with this check here. This is false. Okay. This is one of those things that's not entirely always working with the debugger. So what's this default font? That is 10 whatever. So this span. Which one am I looking at? Which span is this? Font size micro. Okay, so that is default, I get that. Yes, I've confirmed that this is working, so that's good. Font size small, okay. How is this looping through here? Spans is 4, okay, 4. Formatted string, okay, yes. I'm getting the idea that the deployed code and the code that I'm looking at right here is not entirely the same because it's skipping over some breakpoints. So let's see if we can do a rebuild and deploy it again. See if that gets us some better results. In the meanwhile, let's see. So if it's not default, we're going to dive in here, but we're just passing along the font, and that could be an issue. We're actually also doing the view, which is the text view. Okay, that's the font span right here. Font to typeface. So where are we actually setting the text decorations? That's weird, right? Is it the font attributes? That's what I mean. Sorry. Font attributes, not text decorations. Is that set somewhere entirely different? Let's see if we can find the font attributes somewhere in the Android project. Well, it seems there's some weird stuff going on. Doesn't find any search results, which is pretty strange, because there's one here. So let's see what my breakpoints are doing. Test cases, 391. There we go. Okay, so this this is what I'm expecting. So to not come into the default all the time. So which one is this? Span. This is the bold one. Okay. But this is the bold from the... Okay, no, so this is the bold. Yeah, it's from the first one, right? So this has no problem with the sizing because we didn't set any. So we first want to get to the micro one. So this should be italic. Yeah, so that's probably this one. Then we get one more before we go to the next. Yes, this is the bold and italic. Okay. So then we get one that's default, and now we get a bold one again. Yes, and this is where the font size is starting to go wrong because our text view text size is 37. 37, that's big. Because this is supposed to be micro, right? Yes, micro, okay. So that is weird. Default font, so that's probably it. Default font is what we are looking for because that has a font size of 10. No font attributes. Oh no, that's the... Okay, so where are we call stack? Maybe we need to go up a level. Update text, element font, so this is probably, yeah, this is the default font. Text color and the text view. Formatted text. And what we would also like to know is, hey Nikki, good seeing you here. How are you today? Also some people in the chat, that's good. If you have any questions. Sorry, got distracted there for a little bit. So we need to update this when font goes away, yes. What I'm still trying to figure out is how do we determine the attributes? That is weird, right? Bold. Where do we set that? Search. Good, good. Oh, is the volume low? Is it that time of the year again? Great. Let me see if I can fix that. Here we go. I should boost that. Now it's probably better. And did Microsoft put me on the bug fixing duty lately? Well, we're always on the bug fixing duty. It's a mix of bug fixing and creating new features all the time. There is actually we have this shift that's going around that we have to dedicate some time to look out for bugs. So there's that. Let's see, bold. All right, so there's some more font extensions. That is nice. So here we have, okay, into typeface style. Ah, so this is just font extensions. Okay, this is interesting. To typeface style, so that's probably something that we can find in here then. No, also not. Interesting. So where is this used then? Find references to create typeface, and in create typeface. Okay, good. So that's something we have in here. No, also not. Interesting, interesting. Okay, sadly not working with much with Xamarin anymore. A company wants to move to React and React Native. Well, that is sad to hear. No, I'm kidding. It's good. I mean, you just have to use whatever makes sense, right? So there's probably good reasons to go to React and React Native if that is closer to the code base that you're doing. If that makes sense, then yeah, you should use that tool. I mean, no hard feelings. But please unfollow me now. And no, yeah, so good. But how do you like that? Is it good? Is that JavaScript based? Is it that React Native? Is it JavaScript something, right? Don't have any experience with that. Okay, so to typeface, just to see if we can move a little bit along here. Font extensions. To typeface. Where does this come from? It's way deep. Font extensions. Still in font extensions. Entry renderer. Material entry renderer, no. Formatted string. Here we go. That's where you are. So here we have the set typeface font to typeface. Okay, cool. So, and what do we need here? Then we go into here and we have the font attributes. So basically this has all the stuff we need, right? Font attributes, typeface, get or add, font family, font attributes, create typeface, and that's going in here. Then we're getting this style, and then the size gets set here. Okay, so if not, this is not default, then we get in here with this font. But that is weird because this... Where am I? Wasn't I still in a breakpoint? No. Yes. I am still in a breakpoint. Where's my breakpoint? Here we go. So what's this? Name size default. I would expect that to be micro then, right? Font. Span.font. What type is this? That's weird. Okay, so to continue on our discussion, kind of like working with C#, it's okay, JavaScript based, also TypeScript. Oh, well, okay, yeah, I understand that you like C#. I do too, but yeah, so to make it a little bit more better, at least make it TypeScript. I didn't know you could do that. Well, it just transpiles, I think that's how they call it, to JavaScript, so that's cool. But yeah, in the end, does it do the same thing in your opinion, Xamarin and React Native? Is there any reason right now that you would say, like, why would you use React or why would you use Xamarin? I mean, we all know why we would use Xamarin, but you know, just curious. While I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. it's not default. So if it is default, use a default font. So if I set this, because this has default size of 10 something, can I copy that and change this? Or I can't change this? That's too bad. Okay, so but what I have seen is that we get down here at some point then. No? Hey, that's weird. Ah, okay, self is default. Okay, so now it's painting. Okay, yes. And now it's getting here. Okay. Here we go. So is default is true. What is this? Is this the same? Oh, here we have another is default thing. That's not cool. Oh, this might not be so bad. Okay. Or attributes is none and font family is null. Okay, so that is the case. So then we're just going to return the default typeface. Okay, this is where we are going wrong. Okay, I think that is the conclusion where I was last time. So that's good. We are making some kind of progress. Definitely differences between React Native and Xamarin. I do like the native hard reloading. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's hold the presses. Nikki, you're going to learn something new today. In Xamarin.Forms, today we have hard reload. Yay. So just go out to somewhere. Let me see. Xamarin.Forms hard reload. Did you know this already? Here we go. Hard reload for Xamarin.Forms. In preview. And you can just, yep, without LiveXAML, just build into plain old Xamarin.Forms. I've done a blog post about it. I would have thought that you as a #1 fan would have read my blog post. Where is it? Hard reload, here we go. I think there is a little clip here. See, so here we go. Streaming while watching a YouTube video together. Hopefully the priority gets better, or the quality, sorry. So here we have our app. I change a little text and I hit save and boom, it changed. And I think I'm going to change some colors. Text color. Clickety click. Boom, save, boom, it's red. And maybe some background color. You want the background color? No problem. We set it to yellow. I save it and boom, here we go. So, okay, that's enough convincing. We have hard reload now, so that's no more reason to go to React or React Native or other third-party tools. You can just come back to us. Go into the office tomorrow. Tell your boss, we have this. It saves a lot of development time. That's absolutely true, especially with the Xamarin.Forms stuff, where you would have to do a full rebuild to just check a little color or thing. That's no more. You can just use hot reload from your Visual Studio for Windows and Visual Studio for Mac today. So you've learned something new today. That's good. But where was I? Font attributes, font family. And something with the size. Is that, where's the size being set? I think that is, because actually the font family and font attributes are doing pretty okay, right? So what we actually want to do is here, the font to scaled pixels. And that is something that's going wrong here. Text size. Oh, don't worry with the about the distractions. Um, I love chatting. That's why I'm doing these live streams. Else I would have just recorded videos and bored you with that. But it's good to have these interactions. And well, now I get to tell you that we have hard reload, so that's good. You're happy. I'm happy. Everyone is happy. Yay. Okay, good. So no more distractions. Let's fix this thing. Apply dimensions to scale pixel. Here, there we go. That's also some extension method. So the font family, font attributes are good. It's just that this is default. So where is this size? Where is this going wrong? This is just weird. So is default, if not is default. But where does it get this font then? Is that the problem? Yes. Probably through the cycles right here. Okay, so here we have, this is the do I have this? Well, this is the Android one. Do we have a reference to the label here? That would be cool. The VM is not suspended. Okay, thank you for that. Does this have a parent? I think it has a parent, right? Does it have a parent? Let's go find out. Parent. Parent. Okay, so this is the label, and the label has a font size of 14. Don't really believe that. What is the text on this thing? Text is null. Oh, that's especially cool. So maybe I think I broke the connection with the emulator here, so let's do this again. I was probably waiting too long for debugging this, and then Android killed something. Probably something like that. Oh, it's already back up. Wow. We must have fixed something with that as well. So let's see. Here we go. Test cases 3901. Open this one. So here we get some. Where are we? What's the text of this span? This is bold. So this is that. And let's see if we. What the parent is right now. And formatted text font size small. So why does it still have this same font size 0 named font family, font size? Huh. Span base. Parent is a label, yes. Because font size should be small on this one, so how does this work? This is more difficult than I thought for some reason. text size, update font. So is it coming through here at some point? Nope. Font size small. So this is this one, and the font size is small. So why isn't the font small? Do you know if Steven streams too? Well, not yet. I know he's thinking about it. And I know we're planning to do a little stream together in yeah, he's going on vacation first, so it will be in about 2 weeks. And I'm trying to get him to stream more regularly as well, but not yet, not yet. So he has an account already. I think it's Steven Tevisse, just his full name, so you can follow him there already. And I think he'll get there. There's a couple of streams where he was a guest, and we'll probably do something together as well. But he's not regularly streaming right now, no. But I'll pass on that you want to see him streaming. That will be good. Apply dimensions, paint, text view, font. Oh, this is the default one. Okay, so that's good. This is the default one. To typeface. Self, this font, self. So each of those has a... So I'm too late here. The font size is set earlier. Okay, so let's skip over this for now. All good. Here we still have this. I don't see where this font size is set for the... Not a string, not is default. Hey, we got Steven a new follower. Good. So then you'll be notified whenever he does start streaming. That's good. Not his default. Okay, so what I will do is just to try something and not just stare at code all the time, is to see if not is default. If span dot font size is default. And get an else in here to just verify that we can do something with the font size here. Ah, right. That's probably why this is in here. There we go. Maybe we can simply say, not do this, but say dot font size is, can set that, private set. Awesome. Is new font. I need to font. Please use font properties directly. Okay. But I can't do that because it's private set. Okay, so maybe I still need to do this then. This and else, there we go. Yeah. With, oops, size. Yeah, now I want to get the so I think the default font dot size. I think the default font is the one coming from the label, right? Let's see if that is true. Label renderer. See, it says element.font, and element is the label. Okay, so let's see if this does something into the direction that we want to go. Else, yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. Let's go to our test case 3901. Oops, it was already there. There we go. We fixed it. Yeah, cell 5. Awesome. Okay, so I think now what we need to verify is that it still works for woohoo, yes, I love this coding with the crowd. Makes me feel so much better when something works. So I think I will just need to verify now that it also works with a custom font, that it will also take any other font families. It's pretty apparent that it takes the font attribute, so that's good. And let's just see with the font family. Do I have some kind of font in this app? It's probably in the assets, fonts, there we go, very good, but it's just icons. It's probably some search here. Font family. Ooh, Comic Sans, that's always good. Let's see if it works. Yeah, let's just make all the labels Comic Sans. I think I need to do more than this to make it work, but yeah, let's see. Let's just give it a try. Medium, large, 30. So yeah, if you're paying attention, we would have hard reload, but hard reload doesn't work on the repository itself because it needs the actual Xamarin.Forms NuGet packages, I think. So yeah, no hard reload for our own internal stuff. There we go. Let's see if we can make beautiful Comic Sans come back again. Make it great again. No, we can't. Okay. So how does this work? Assets, fonts. I think at some point there were fonts in here, but they're not anymore. Ah, this is for UWP. Okay, there we go. Consolas. WinRT. No, go away. Not doing WinRT. Roboto. No. So, but if we're saying Comic Sans, then it should be in probably iOS. Resources, fonts. Oh, it does have Roboto. Okay. No Comic Sans somewhere. Comic. Nothing. That is disappointing. Do we have somewhere in the resources? I don't think so. I think it needs to be in the assets for Android. Alright, so maybe I'll just test that a little bit later. So what also might be a interesting thing to see is let's just get this Comic Sans out of here. There we go. Maybe to commit this, not this. Can remove this little comment here. And the rest seems to be the solution. Fixed Android, commit, push, let's do it. I'm very confident. So what you also might want to do is whenever you want to create a PR at some point, and you've been working on this for a while, like I have, at least 2 weeks, so since the last change, I think I started way earlier. So is to rebase it on the latest changes. So basically what happens when you do a rebase is you take the history from the branch that you want to rebase on. So in this case that will be master, and you take the full history of that, so all the changes, and you take the commits from the branch that you're working on now, and it puts those commits, it replays those changes from the commits on the history of what's currently in the master branch. So what that basically does is try to put your changes on the latest changes in the master in this case. So that probably will give us some conflicts or that kind of stuff, but it is a very important thing to do. It can be a little bit scary because if you have to rebase, you also have to force push, and usually when you force something, that's not good, but you will have to trust in the force push in this case, because what you're doing is effectively changing history. You're changing everything that has happened before on your branch with a new version of that history basically. So what you want to do is Git Rebase. I usually use the I argument, which is interactive, so you get to pick the commits that you want to do, and I basically use that to just have a little bit of control over what commits I'm putting in there, and to see if everything goes right. But no worries, if things start to go wrong, you can just reset the whole thing. Just make sure you have committed it to your branch, and as long as you don't push or force push or anything like that, you're good. Then you can just reset to the remote branch, and you will have your changes as it was before, and try again. And then you have to specify on which branch you want to rebase on. So if I do this, then I should get into Vim, or Vi in this case. So that's also a challenge to get out of here alive. But these are the 3 commits that I did so far. So iOS bit a little bit fixed. I fixed it, yay, and I fixed Android now. So in here, whenever you put this hashtag, this pound before it, it will be a comment and it will not do anything. So here you can see a lot of commands that you can use. So you can write this pick full like this, or you can just use P, or you can put an R in front of it and change the commit message here, or you can squash some commits together. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do here. Whenever you're doing this for Xamarin.Forms, don't worry about it, because we squash and merge all your commits into one commit, and that commit that into the branch. So if there's a list of 100 things here, fine with us, don't worry about it. That's perfectly fine. We will squash that for you. So this looks good. Then let's get out of here and let's see. Okay, so this gives us some conflicts. That was to be expected. Well, it's not too bad. It's in this shared project items. So what I usually do is open this in Visual Studio Code, which is actually a great tool to do these merges in. And I can just say API label. I don't know, probably something coming in from the master branch, which is something new. And this is my file, so I want to merge these together. And I think that's it. So save that, go back. And now I have to mark the conflict as resolved with git add. And I want to copy the file path. There we go. Add this. And then I can say git rebase continue. You can also do abort here if you are not sure what's going on. But in this case, I want to continue. Fine. And boom, it's rebased. And you can look at the history here. So this is something my colleague Stefan has done 2 days ago. So that should be the last commit on the master branch for Xamarin.Forms. We can quickly check if that is true. Here we go. Merge branch 430 2 days ago. So that's good. And then it replayed the commits that I've created all the way back from August 27 on the latest changes of master. I only had one conflict that I had to solve, and now everything is good. So now comes the scary part, because you can see it wants to pull this origin here. Because I'm using a mix of different tools, this is not really efficient if you were not sure what you were doing. Because if you pull this, then things start to go wrong, and you don't want to be doing that. The only thing that you want to do is actually push these changes here to your branch. The reason that it's so much is because there's a lot of changes that are not in your branch but are coming from the master branch. So again, what you want to do is rewrite that whole history and put your commits on top. So here is where the force push is coming in, and that's just git push min force. And again, this is a bit scary to do the first time, but it's not that scary and actually pretty common in this scenario. So whenever I do this, it just pushes it. It doesn't pull the thing first. It just pushes all the changes that I have here. And then this should have gone in there. Why didn't I commit this? That's weird. Did I do something wrong? Does it have all the changes? No, this is the... Oh, it has all the changes. Issue, is this in here? For some reason I have a local copy of all my changes here. Let's stash these and see if this still works. This doesn't usually happen. Damn you, demo gods. So let's just stash these things. There we go. And see if this all still works. Platform Android. Rebuild this. And I thought there was some activity in the chat, so let's see. Isn't similar to just merging master into your own feature branch. That doesn't require force push. Yes, so that's also something that you could do to merge the current master into your own branch. Certainly, that's also something that you could do, but then you get these merge commits in there, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, this seems to be a lot cleaner than you just have this set of commits that you've been doing on top each time, instead of just having them throughout the whole history and have this merge commit from master coming in from time to time. So yeah, that's something that you can do this way, and there's probably some other advantage that I'm not thinking of right now. Okay, so this is not really going well. I think something with the... Let's just restart Visual Studio for Mac. That always works. That always works. And when this still works, I think it's time to maybe... How long have I been doing? Well, a little over an hour. So maybe it's enough for the stream for today. And then next week... I'm not here next week. I will actually be in Seattle next week, so that's cool. And then the week after that, I'm going to be at Techorama NL, a pretty cool event in the Netherlands. So that's going to be 2 weeks without a stream. That's not good for my statistics, but maybe I can find some time in between to do a little ad hoc stream. But next week you should be watching .NET Conf, of course, the 3-day live streaming event from, well, I think it's organized by Microsoft with streams from all over the world from the community. And it's 3 days because we try to spread out through all the time zones. And it's pretty cool that I will be in Seattle at that time. I won't be doing a session, unfortunately. I will be doing a training, but yeah, it's still pretty cool. And the week after that, I'm busy organizing Techorama, putting out fires, running around. But whenever I'm done with all my important tasks, sorry about that, then I'll be back streaming this a little bit more, and maybe we can add some UI tests to this to see if we can make sure this never happens again, because we have literally hundreds of UI tests, and I think maybe thousands. Is it thousands? At least hundreds as well. Unit tests that run on each CI build. Well, not the UI tests. I think we trigger them manually most of the time whenever we think a PR is about ready. But the unit tests, of course, run with every CI build. So we try to put in the UI tests, which also happen here in this gallery app. So actually, if we dive into this control gallery app here, if Visual Studio will let me, we have this whole bunch of issues here, and if we take one, come on. Then hopefully this has a UI test, but this one doesn't. This one doesn't. Ah, this one has. And we have this UI test thing here, and you can see we have a test running app. It scrolls down, it scrolls up, it does some things. And so yeah, we have this UI tests for well, a lot of our issues, not all, as you can see, but for a lot of them. It does seem that something weird was going on with my merging and that kind of stuff. How do you unstash things again? How did you do this? List, show, drop, state, stash, apply, that's it. There we go. Come back. It's not apply, what is it? Did I lose my changes now? That would be a pity. On spec carousel, what? 309, stash, apply. I'm such a noob with this. I'm trying to use the command line more, but quiet stash index. Okay, index. Let's see. So apply index 0. Uh-oh. Oh, this is actually pretty good. But how does this work? Why? I broke something. Don't know why. Don't know how. So I think add files. Controls API label. Okay, so it's in here. For some reason the merge didn't go right. Okay, now it sees it. Not sure what I did wrong here. But we'll just add another commit, no problem. That's what I mentioned. We just squash and merge all the things in a PR eventually, so it doesn't matter if there is some weird stuff in there. But yeah, I was telling about the UI test. So actually this one has a UI test as well. That is why the API label was there. Not sure what this is trying to solve. List view scroll not working when inside a scroll view. Okay. So we're checking if the API is higher than 21 for Android, and then we're going to wait for some element which is marked with 1, and we're going to scroll down to 30. So that's cool. And then whenever that happens, the test is succeeded. There we go, 3901. And we still have the right font size, so that's good. So, all right. Then I have successfully rebased my changes. Well, sort of. And I think, oh, see, no content changes found. So why are these still in here? That's just weird, right? And they're in here as well. So I don't know. I'll just have to make sure to only commit this one. Oh, and now suddenly all the changes are gone. So it's probably something to do with switching this visual tool with the console and that kind of stuff. Maybe it isn't like that. Okay, so now I have this fix in place, basically. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I think for the next stream it will be useful to go look for UI tests, to create UI tests for this. So we make sure that no regression turns up. And yeah, I'll probably have to do some a little bit more testing to see if it holds up with scenarios where we change the font and that kind of stuff. But I really didn't change anything in that regard, so I'm pretty confident that it will just work for there. So yeah, for next time, I guess UI tests, and whenever we can get those running, then I think we are good to open an actual PR for this change, so that will be cool. Unfortunately, no stream for the next 2 weeks, so unless I can find some time to squeeze in a stream, the next stream will take a little while, but then yeah, in the one stream the UI tests, in the next one opening the PR, and then I have room for other subjects. So if you have any interesting issues or any problems or anything that you'd like to see, please find me on Twitter or here, and I'm happy to oblige. And also, if you have any questions, other questions in the meantime, please follow me somewhere here, down here. And yeah, that's good. Thank you for watching. Thank you for bearing with me, Nikki. I hope you will find some joy in working with React and React Native. Enjoy the trip. Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you know how it was next time. And I think David Ortnow is streaming now as well. So maybe with our handful of viewers, we can just raid his stream and you'll have something fun to watch as well. All right. Have fun. Bye-bye. Until next time.